Guys, now we all know the ultra skinny aesthetic virus is contagious and it's spreading rapidly. And now it has crawled its way into Hollywood. And now Hollywood stars look like this. Yes, the downfall is real. Hi guys, Nikita this side. Today let's discuss what is really going on in Hollywood. Why the stars who used to look like icons now look like skeletons. Recently, the internet has been buzzing with the appearance of certain celebrities. Ariana Grande is already under public scrutiny after her recent weight drop, and her weight has been a topic of discussion throughout the entire Wicked movie promotion. So much so that people started cooking stories like the actors were not allowed to eat on Wicked movie set. Then came Alexa Demi, who plays Maddie in Euphoria, and during the recent Euphoria promotion, she also left the internet in frenzy with people asking what happened to her. And then it wasn't just them. We started seeing the same conversation around celebrity after celebrity, and now Jenna Ortega. And one of the biggest things we cannot ignore here is Ozempic. Now, before you start, no, I'm not saying every celebrity who lost weight is secretly taking Ozempic. We have no way of knowing that unless they actually say it themselves. But you cannot deny that something huge happened in the weight loss industry at almost the same time this ultra thin aesthetic started making a comeback. Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro. Suddenly, everyone was talking about them. Originally, these medications were developed for conditions like type 2 diabetes, and some were later approved specifically for chronic weight management. They work partly by reducing appetite and slowly digestion, which can result in significant weight loss. But, guys, everything comes with their own pros and cons. After losing a lot of weight in a short time, some people can lose a lot of fat from their face too, making the cheeks look hollow, the face look sharper or more sunken, the skin look loose. Loss of facial fat can make the cheeks look more hollow. The face can appear thinner, more angular, or slightly more gaunt. Wrinkles and loose skin may become more noticeable, and the eyes can appear more sunken because of the reduced volume around the face. And the same thing can happen to the body. There can be less fullness in the arms, legs, and butt, and some muscle can also be lost along with the fat. This is why you may see people online talking about Ozempic face, Ozempic butt, but these changes can happen with any major or fast weight loss. So looking at someone's face or body cannot tell us whether they are actually taking Ozempic or not, but internet is full of theories. So looking at someone's face or body cannot tell us whether they are actually taking Ozempic or not. But one thing's for sure, Hollywood thinness obsession arc is somewhat back like the 90s, and the pressure is visible. And this brings us to another very important player in this whole beauty standard mess, Victoria's Secret. Because let's be honest, why the hell does everyone wants to look like a Victoria's Secret model in real life? These women are professional models. Their job is literally to model for clothes and lingerie. They are selected for a very specific set of physical proportions that work for fashion. But somehow that specific runaway body became the beauty standard that ordinary women were expected to achieve. And here's the crazy part. Researchers actually looked at the body measurements of Victoria's Secret model who walked the show between 1995 and 2018 and found out that the models became increasingly slender even while the average American woman's waist circumference and dress size were moving in the opposite direction. So think about that for a second. The fashion industry's ideal body was literally moving further away from the body of the average woman. And that's where the problem starts because a runaway is supposed to sell a fantasy. But social media took that fantasy and brought it into our bedrooms, our phones, our feeds, and eventually into our own self image. And suddenly, a body that was supposed to be an exceptional fashion industry ideal starts feeling like the minimum requirement for being attractive. And here's the irony, Victoria's Secret itself has already been forced to acknowledge that this beauty standard was a problem. And if you think this obsession with being extremely thin is something completely new, just look back at the 90s. This was the era of what the fashion industry called heroin chic. Extremely thin, straight, almost fragile looking bodies with visible cheekbones and very little body fat. Kate Moss became the face of this look. And this wasn't just a tiny fashion trend. Former models from that era have talked about the extreme pressure to stay thin, including going to harsh diets and other unhealthy methods just to fit the sample sizes. It became controversial enough that people were openly criticizing the industry for promoting an unhealthy level of thinness. And by the late 90s, the backlash against heroin chic had become serious enough that the fashion industry itself started distancing itself from the look. And eventually, the extreme thin look became less socially acceptable. Then 2010 brought a much bigger push for curves, fitness, and body positivity. But now, after years of that shift, we are seeing ultra thin bodies becoming fashionable again. Except this time, the internet is everywhere, and we also have GLP-1 drugs in the picture. And before we make this only about women, the men aren't completely out of this conversation either. We have also seen some pretty dramatic weight changes among male celebrities recently. So, after putting everything together, I don't think Hollywood is getting thinner because of one single reason. It's a mix of an industry that has always valued a certain appearance, fashion bringing the ultra thin look back, social media constantly pushing that look, and the rise of GLP-1 drugs, making weight loss a much bigger part of the conversation. And that's why we are seeing this sudden wave of celebrities who look noticeably thinner or even gaunt compared to how they looked before. And now we can't sit here and say every celebrity is on Ozempic or has an eating disorder or is deliberately starving themselves. We simply don't know. But when you start seeing the same dramatic change across multiple celebrities at around the same time, it's completely fair to ask, why is this happening now? Because maybe what we are watching isn't just a few celebrities losing weight. Maybe we are watching Hollywood's beauty standard shift again. And if that's true, the real question is, how far is this new obsession with being ultra thin going to go? And guys, if you liked my video, please like, share, and subscribe my channel.